Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I am sharing another layout featuring a sketch from Scrapbook Generation. This is in a bundle where all the sketches are using 6x6 paper pads and all the sketches are one-page sketches. This also had a Facebook group that you could pay for access to. I obviously fell behind. I want to say this is probably a year ago. I have this one and one other sketch, and I can call all 20 of them done. If you're following along or you have this sketch bundle, this is sketch number 13. I did stick relatively close to the example, and the only one I have left is number 20, and it is almost completed on my desk now. I'm hoping to finish that up today and kind of maybe try to go ahead and edit that one today as well so that I can schedule some stuff. I know I'm kind of hit or miss on when I post videos. Honestly, that's kind of why I've just never set myself up for a schedule, because I know if I tell you guys that I schedule videos here, here, and here, I will fail and I will feel bad. So instead, I look at it more of like, surprise, I got a video posted. And I will tell you that this is the time of year where, for whatever reason, current Nicole thinks that future Nicole is somehow going to be more organized and more motivated and more on it. So this is the time when I start thinking about series and videos coming into the next year. And I do this all the time. I 100% am going to run through 2 sketch bundles from Scrapbook Generation. One I'm running with a bunch of friends on a forum, and then I am going to kind of incorporate that into YouTube and reach out to some YouTube friends and see if anybody else wants to play along. And I signed up for the class that is over on, is it Scrapbook Cards and Today magazine? It's SCT. I can't think of what the T stands for. Anyways, they are running a year-long sketch class, which is going to feature sketches from Allison Davis. It was a little higher price point than what I would typically enroll in a class, but I kind of looked at it as something to kind of keep me working throughout the year. And knowing that sort of at the beginning of each month, there's going to be like this influx of fresh inspiration, and I'm hoping that will kind of carry me through the months where I'm just not really in the mood. So if anybody else signed up for that class, comment below and let me know. And if you were looking at the class and you're not sure, keep in mind if you've taken one of their previous classes, like the last one I took was from 2019, and the alumni code that was on my 2019 class worked for this one. So it did take 20% off the total of the class. So keep in mind, if you've ever taken a class with them, you more than likely have a coupon code that you can use. Back to my layout. We all know I can't cut anything the same size. So even though these are all supposed to be like, what, 1x6? And you would think the rectangles, they did not line up. And it's fine. I had to tell myself it's fine. I tried to just make sure that the outer edges lined up, because the stuff in the middle, it's going to get covered up by photos and like fun stuff. So I wasn't too worried about that. I did realize that because I was using scraps that, say I thought it was 4x6 and I cut it into 4 strips. One of them wasn't actually 1 inch, it was a little bit bigger. So that was where I was kind of running into this thing with the last quadrant where things weren't lining up. I do believe that the sketch itself and possibly her like sample layout had a little bit more of like mixing up the patterns, but for some reason when I was cutting them and laying them out on my desk, I really liked this sort of almost like a Christmas themed rainbow. So I really liked it having going from like the green to the lighter green to the pattern, the plaid that has both the green and the red, and then like kind of merging into the red. And so I kept all 4 of my quadrants with that pattern instead of kind of mixing them up. Sometimes with this type of design for a background, which I kind of think in my mind I would consider this like almost like a quilted look. Mixing the patterns too much kind of hurts my brain, and I can't find a way to make them look good. So my solution to that is to just keep the patterns in a repeating order and then have them do that for each quadrant, but it's rotated or something. I hope that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying, but hopefully you guys get it. I did go ahead and pierce holes around the entire outside edge, and I stitched those. When it's something like this where you've got a lot of different colors going on, my go-to is to typically just pick a neutral that I know will more than likely show up. So in this instance, I just went with like a dark brown. I don't bother telling you guys like the actual number of the DMC that I use. I just pull out what is left over from old like cross stitch projects. And then I typically keep things like white, cream, some browns, that kind of stuff. I tend to overbuy that when I'm buying thread for cross stitch projects because I know that I tend to pull from those colors for scrapbooking as well. I knew I wanted to do like a die cut title, and I just wanted to play with stuff. So I knew I wanted to kind of mix things up. So I pulled out a bunch of fonts from scrapbook.com's alphabet sets. These are my absolute favorite. They go on sale all the time, and I want to say both of these fonts were part of a 3-font bundle, which was even a bigger deal than what they normally put the single fonts on for. So I tend to keep an eye out for stuff like that because I would rather pay, I want to say it's like maybe, I don't know. Now I can't remember. But I never pay full price for them. I will tell you that. I wait until things like that go on either mega sale or they're bundled together. I have this Altenew stamp and die set that I've been wanting to use for a while. So I pulled that out, and I do end up switching my ink colors. I swatched all my Pink Fresh inks. That swatch I actually made and turned it into a PDF. I'll link it in the bottom of my description. I did put it in the Pink Fresh like fan group. I do the ink swatches that Jennifer McGuire has on her download section, where it's like a 2x2 square and then they fit in the coin pockets. But I also like having like the whole collection on one sheet so that I can kind of have like a quick look. My Favorite Things has a download on their website for their inks, and I want to say Lawn Fawn does too. There's a couple companies where like I've gone through their website and I found their downloads, and I just really like having them all on one sheet, and Pink Fresh didn't have one. So I just kind of made my own. I did go in and rework it when they released the new colors, and I was so happy that I could fit all of them on one sheet because I really didn't want to go to 2 sheets, so that was good. But yeah, I like pulling out the whole sheet, looking at my pattern papers, and kind of finding an ink that matches from there. This was when I was like, the colors that I wanted looked good on my swatch paper, but when they are stamped in such a skinny font, they actually look a little darker for some reason. So I kind of just went like 1 or 2 shades down because when they were that dark, they looked the same. And I was pleasantly surprised by this stamp set. I kind of was a little nervous with it just being super skinny, and I was worried that I was going to have trouble like lining up the dies. This one was actually really easy, and I sent a photo of it to a friend, and she actually commented on like how perfect they looked, and I was like, I'm shocked as well. I didn't mess up any of them. Didn't have to go back and like redo any, so that was nice. For the like, what is that? The word Christmas and holly and jolly, I did 2 layers of just regular white cardstock and then a 3rd layer. So I've got some gold, like textured cardstock. I want to say that's from Tonic. If it's still in stock, I'll post it. I've bought that 6x6 pad a couple times. It's like my absolute favorite. You get like a smooth gold, a textured gold, glitter gold, couple different ones, and I love them for doing like the DIY thickers. And I save like the tiniest scraps because I can typically eke out a lot a lot of titles from those papers. It's sometime after this when I'm gonna realize that I actually stamped Holly twice instead of throwing in the J to get Jolly. I don't remember if I left it in or not, but I did leave some of this more like time consuming stuff in here just so you guys can kind of see. Anytime I'm doing stuff like stitching, a lot of die cutting, stamping, I'm not typically sitting here in one session and doing that. I'll come up here and I worked on all of these die cut letters one day. I did the stitching one day. I came back and did my embellishing another day. I just kind of break it up and work on different sections instead of like one long crafting session. That doesn't kind of work for me. Sometimes I tend to get bored, or I have trouble making decisions the longer that I've been sitting here. So by breaking it up into different decisions and different steps, that tends to work better for me. So that's another thing. Somebody did ask me, I don't remember if it was on a recent video or if it was on Facebook, but somebody said, how do you decide like what ink colors to buy? And my short answer is I don't. The long answer is my budget is more for like the mini ink cube price point than a full size ink pad price point. So I had invested in the Lawn Fawn mini ink cube line because to me it was a really good overall like rainbow of colors. And then when I started taking the Pink Fresh online events, I liked all of their ink colors come in like a 4-pack where you have the lightest of the shade up to the darkest of the shade. I think Altenew does that. A bunch of different companies does the same kind of thing. And there's so many to pick from. So for me, it was just, I'm already taking the Pink Fresh events. They give you obviously they're going to tell you their ink colors that they're using. So I slowly just started buying a couple of the 4-packs here and there when I would do an order. Again, I would wait for sales, save my coupons for that kind of thing. Because to me, I like the price point and the storage of the minis over like full-size ink pads. The full-size pads that I tend to invest in are going to be more like the Distress Oxides and the Simon Says stamp. I think it's something saturated. They're a different ink pad. It's like the squishy kind. I love the squishy kind. And I think when they first came out, they weren't doing mini ink cubes, and now I think they are, but now I'm kind of just committed. But again, those I'll pick up either on sale or if sometimes if it's like somebody's asking for like a birthday idea or Christmas idea, I'll send them something like that. So now that I spent all that time gluing all those letters together, but again, if you're the type that you enjoy like letter stickers because it's quick, you do that. I just enjoy the process of making the stacked die cut letters, so I take the time to do that. I like the process. I find it relaxing. I put on a TV show and just kind of sit and enjoy myself. Now, when I did my big room cleanup, I ended up moving my Christmas stuff into 2 storage boxes so that when I'm working on stuff like this, I just pull everything out, because I think seasonal or like holiday stuff, I tend to mix and match brands and collections and stuff. So I just started digging through everything and pulling out things that I like. The tree sticker is super old from October Afternoon. That tag is from Chic Tags. I don't even know if they're in business anymore. Both those places are probably closed. My Simple Stories stuff, between the 6x6 pad, these die cuts, and the stickers are at least 5 years old or more. but I still love it. Am I tempted by some of the new stuff that's out? Yeah. But some of it starts to look the same, and I start to get a little bit overwhelmed because I have so much in my stash that I haven't touched or haven't cut into. So it has to be something like that I absolutely love that tempts me into like new releases, because I'm at a point where I'm still really enjoying the things that I've been hoarding and the things that are in my stash. And so that's what I pull from. I know some people like to see the latest and greatest and they want to be inspired and they like to go shopping for the new things. I know it's frustrating to watch somebody do a process video like this where they're pulling stuff from their stash that's super old, and if you like try to go find it to buy it for yourself, the odds are very low that you're going to find it. I'm looking at it more of, I hope that you kind of find inspiration to sort of go look in your own stuff and see what you can find, that maybe you purchased an alphabet stamp set that you loved and you just haven't used it yet, and maybe this will sort of spark an idea for a layout, and you know, pull it out, get it inked up, get it used. Or maybe you haven't looked through your Christmas stuff in a while, or you've never mixed lines, you've never mixed a bunch of stuff together. I share what I like to do, and the videos are kind of like an additional hobby or like an add-on to the paper crafting hobby. And I don't know, I think overall I just hope that you guys find like basic inspiration. Sometimes I do share like new things that have just come out that I'm excited about, that you still, you know, you can still run and go get. And then sometimes I go through phases where I'm like, you know what, I'm really digging this like super old stuff and I want to see like what I can make with it. I feel like I've been talking a long time about nothing, but again, if you're here and you've been here for a while, we're not running a professional craft show, we're just having fun. As far as like where I choose to put my clusters, I think some of them fall where they showed on the sketch. A lot of times I just start tucking things and deciding what I like and what I don't like. In this instance, I was really liking those kind of like rustic florals, so I just made sure that I had, I think I've got like 3 or 4 on here. I used 2 of the stamps. I made sure I had like, I used, what does it say? Oh, what fun is a circle shape. So I grabbed a circle label because I used a blank label. I grabbed a rectangle label. Like, I like to just have stuff that doesn't seem one off, but also like looks mix and matchy. Now, when I was originally planning my title, I kind of thought that the Holly Jolly would be nestled a little bit more centered above Christmas, and it wasn't. And I'll end up coming up with a solution, but these were already sort of glued down. I think originally I thought that they were going to be a little bit closer together. I did end up ripping up my green Y because I needed it shifted up just a tiny bit because I forgot that the I has a dot. So we needed a little bit more wiggle room there. Typically I plan my title spacing a little bit better than this, but it's okay. At this point I was like, let's just find like a decorative element to kind of put in the middle here. And so I found this snowflake sticker. Basically I'm looking for something that's going to be more neutral in color and the size that's going to fit in there, and then I'm going to put something on top of it that's going to look a little bit more interesting. And then the last word for my title is I'm going to grab some really old Doodlebug letter stickers. I like to pop these up because I just kind of feel like when I put them flat on a layout, they sort of get lost. So I like having the dimension behind these, especially because all the other letters have stacked paper layers. So to me, this just gives them a little bit more presence and kind of everything flows together. I did not journal on this one. Basically, it's my husband's work party. I did remember to go and pull my photos back up and get the date. It was one of those things where it was like, I can't remember when this was, and I don't scrapbook in order, so it's not like I know, like, oh, I'm working on 2018 right now. No, I jump around. I like to jump around, and I also like to jump around between like seasons, holidays, different stuff. I did want to incorporate like some sort of small embellishment. So I made the decision between sequins, or these are these like gold bauble things. These were part of a Pink Fresh kit, but I think they're available on their own now. I love these things. They're just like flat back pearl kind of things. So I just find different areas to kind of nestle those in, and then I stamped my date down here on the bottom of the background and pretty much called it good. So there's my completed layout. Like I said, I just have the last sketch of this whole bundle to do, and I can call it done. Typically I do like a layout share when I finish the bundles. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, so leave me a comment if you're interested in that type of video. If not, I might skip it this time. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.